Welcome to the NADMC Services Classroom. I'm Nikki Swisher, and I'll be leading the training today for the Golden Marketing Equation. And this is one of my favorite trainings because it gives the viewer or the business owner the ability to see marketing from a 10,000-foot perspective. And if you're new to digital marketing, this is the best training to start with because it will give you the big picture of where certain things fit in the entire equation. So that learning the individual pieces down the road and implementing different things into your business will be much simpler. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Let's talk about the first thing, which is what is digital marketing? When you think about marketing, I want you to think of it in two different buckets. One bucket being offline marketing and the other bucket being digital marketing. And most of you are familiar with what offline marketing is. Old school yellow pages, direct mail, things like that nature, so on and so forth. Digital marketing is categorized as internet and mobile efforts. So it used to be called just internet marketing, and now with mobile on the rise, we've switched our terminology to include mobile, which is now called digital. So when we discuss digital marketing, I want you to think of everything internet and mobile. So with that being said, most people when they talk about digital marketing, they think of it as having a website. And here at NADMC Services, most of our customers come to us with a website, and they usually say, we're not seeing the return on our website, we're not getting enough customers from our website, we don't know what to do. And I would say that's about 90 to 95% of our customers. Some of our customers come to us with no website at all, or they're a startup and they need help forming their digital presence. But most people come to us with some type of old school website and they don't know how to bring it up to date, how to make it fire on all cylinders, how do you integrate it with social media, and so on and so forth. And so with our customers, we walk them through this equation. And so with you being the viewer right now, I want to walk you through this equation because it really will, by the end of this 30 minutes or so, 25 or 30 minutes, it will give you a very valuable perspective of marketing. So when you see a Facebook fan page, or you see a Twitter post, or you see a YouTube video, or you see a landing page or a website, you'll be able to remember this funnel and which layer those pieces fit in because it all works systematically. So with that being said, digital marketing is internet and mobile. And trust me, this is definitely not a hype, it's not a fad, it's not a buzz. It definitely is not. And with you operating your business right now, these are as significant as any times in history. There is so much going on. The world is moving so fast. In fact, United Nations Cyber School has stated that the internet is the fastest growing instrument of communication in the history of civilization, and it may be the most rapidly disseminating tool of any kind ever. And the convergence of information technology and the internet may well become as transformative as the Industrial Revolution. So it is definitely not a fad, it is not a trend, it is a revolution. It is what we call the digital revolution. And for today's purposes, I'm going to walk you through an example of a certain industry that uses the funnel as well. And in your business and as a business owner, you can implement this marketing funnel as well to really step ahead of your competition. In digital marketing, about 3 to 5% are responsible for 95% of all the success online. So very similar to that you hear in real estate, that 5% of all the realtors sell 95% of all the homes. It's very similar in marketing. About 3 to 5% really have the most success online, and for 95% of the success online. And they utilize this 5-step funnel that I'm actually going to teach you right now. So it is an extremely powerful force. I'm showing you here that this presentation is neither Democratic nor Republican, I assure you. But just to show you how powerful this funnel is, just for example, 14.2 million views Obama's famous Yes We Can video got on YouTube. The Obama campaign realized this very early on. He started 9 months prior to his opposing candidate to utilize the digital marketing funnel. He knew that that was definitely a force to be reckoned with if he wanted to win the election. It's been noted that his elections have been digital media juggernauts, and I really do agree with that. And I'm going to show you not only how the funnel works today, but I'm going to show you specific examples of how their campaign implemented pieces of the funnel. So digital marketing, it is no longer the exception, it is the rule. Everywhere you look, there's Twitter, there's Facebook, there's YouTube, you name it. So at some point, you really have to recognize this if you haven't already. And I understand stepping foot into the digital media arena is not always easy. And a lot of businesses fail when they first start, and they tend to not step foot into that water of digital media because of that previous failure. It's kind of that if I don't look at it, maybe it'll go away type of scenario, and that just simply won't happen. But when you have an equation or you have a system, it's much easier to understand the way digital marketing works. And then you can do things with your marketing to really see a return on your business. So at some point you do want to drink the Kool-Aid. You want to realize that it's a necessity in your business. And yes, we do live digitally. People are checking in wherever they go. They are opening email from their phones. I think it's been said that over half of all email is opened via the mobile phone. I know I check probably 80% of my email via my iPhone, as opposed to logging onto my desktop or my laptop or so on and so forth. So we are living digitally. And just to show you, to reach 50 million users as a benchmark, it took radio broadcasters 38 years to reach an audience of 50 million. It took TV 13 years. It took the internet just 4 years, and it took mobile just 24 months. And so things are really progressing very rapidly. But let's take a look. What are people actually doing online or via their smartphones? What are they actually doing? And according to Alexa, which is a ranking system for websites, and just looking at the top 10 websites of what's going on, people are searching for context via text and video. They're socializing and they're shopping, and that's what they're mostly doing. They're either looking for information, they're socializing, or they're shopping. And so with you being a business owner, you definitely want to tap into that, whether they're shopping for services from you or they're socializing in social media. You want to be where they're looking, or they're looking for information, and we're going to show you how to be where they are. But the digital world, let's face it, is an extremely busy place. So how in the world do you actually break through the noise and get noticed? Well, like I said before, statistically, less than 3% digitally drive more than 95% of all the traffic and see more than 95% of all of the success. But here's the aha moment. Those who do have a very systematic strategy. They don't just hope and pray that having a Facebook fan page and having a website is going to really, up their game and they're going to see more customers and have the phone ringing more. That is not how it works. The best marketers in businesses of our time are implementing two main things. And those two things look like this. Number one, they are getting a lot more personal in their brand. I mean, I see it from one-man shops to Coca-Cola to HP, Office Depot, you name it. They're getting a lot more personal. So gone are the days of having a very cold, stodgy corporate feel in your business. We don't live in those times anymore. And I do see a lot of businesses that start out, they want to look like this big corporation and big company, and they lose that ability to really be intimate with their audience. And it's ironic that on the other end, the large companies are now becoming a lot more intimate in their communication with their audience. So my point here is, if you are a business owner, whether you have 2 employees or you have 25 employees, whether you have 200 employees, you want to remain as intimate as you possibly can with that communication in your emails, in your SMS marketing, the website copy that you have, and so on and so forth. It's some of the most powerful tools that you can bring to your marketing game. So do reflect more of your personal brand inside your business. The second thing they're doing is they're simply implementing the funnel, and that's what I'm going to walk you through today. They build what is known as a funnel so that their marketing works for them 24/7. It's very systematic. And if you want to stand far above your competition and really do it with scale, there's a 5-step equation that very few know about that I'm going to show you today. So, again, these two things are responsible for billions of dollars. They're also responsible for, in my opinion, winning political campaigns. So, becoming more personal in your brand and implementing the 5-step funnel. And let's talk about personal branding. A must today. You want to be able to tell your story. So, for example, when I started out 4 years ago, I was very new to digital marketing, and as I became much more knowledgeable in the industry, my story was I had owned a business in my previous life where I didn't really know much about marketing at all, and I struggled, and I tried to, build a website and do certain things, and it just wasn't adding up. So I include that story in my marketing with my audience to really be able to relate to them. So when you are, let's say you're a handyman, and maybe you became, before you became knowledgeable about building decks and refinishing basements and updating bathrooms and so on and so forth, maybe you started out and tried to do things yourself and failed. And maybe you're teaching other people how to do things. So you want to relate your story into it. Whatever industry you're in, we all have a story. And the point here is that story becomes a very big asset to your business and one that you should definitely share. So make sure you're personal branding and you're using your story, because that is obviously the easiest thing to set you apart from your competition as well, because nobody's you. So make sure you include your story in your brand. The next thing, again, I want to talk to you about the 5 steps to marketing your business online or via mobile. So let's talk about that. With this being the funnel, let's go through the steps here. T stands for traffic, which is the first step in the funnel. D is for data capture. F is for following up. W is for website, and P is for products and services. So it's traffic plus data capture plus following up plus your website and your products and services. And what I'd like to do now is dive into each step so you can see what we mean by these. But picture it, if you were to close your eyes and think of the funnel in your mind, think of customers or prospects, not customers, prospects falling into the top of the funnel and basically spitting out customers on the other side. And this is how the digital equation works, and it works for tons of businesses. It works for electional campaigns and so on and so forth. So let's take a look at step number 1, and that is traffic. You want to be where they are. In digital marketing, it's much easier to position yourself in front of prospects or customers that are already looking for you. So unlike putting an ad in the newspaper where thousands of people read the newspaper, but maybe only less than 0.5% are actually interested in what you sell. And then of that 0.5%, who knows if they even need you at that point in time in their life. And it's a one-time shot unless you're paying to advertise multiple times. With digital marketing, it's different. You can position yourself with keywords, videos that people are looking for. Keywords have really kind of leveled the playing field for businesses to be where people are already looking for them. So let's take a look. What are some examples of traffic? And I am going to use the Obama campaign in here. And trust me, this is not a Democratic presentation whatsoever. I just think because of the success that that campaign saw using social media and using digital marketing, it's an extremely relevant example to use in this presentation. So let's take a look. So step number 1 is traffic. Different sources of traffic. It might be Facebook, it might be Twitter, it might be LinkedIn. Another traffic source would be Google optimization. Another would be Google Places or Google Maps, which is, I love Google Maps for local businesses. I think it's just such a bang for your buck. Pay-per-click advertising is another source of traffic. YouTube is another source of traffic. And these are all traffic examples for digital marketing. If you were to think of traffic with offline marketing, it might be direct mail, it might be a yellow page ad, it might be flyer distribution, and so on and so forth. So that would be traffic for the offline world. This is traffic for the digital world. So let's review where that fits in the funnel. Getting back to my elementary school days, I always like to review before going on. So the first step again was traffic. We talked about Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Places, Google optimization, pay-per-click ads along the sidebar of Google, YouTube videos. Those are all driving eyeballs to something of yours, which is the first step. The second step is data capture. And of all the steps, this is the step that is by far most overmissed, or most missed rather, by business owners. This is kind of the step that is left to the pros, but it is easy to implement. You just have to know about it. It's one of those what I call professional marketing secrets. Data capture is where you capture their information so that you can follow up with them over time. And what I mean by that is once you drive eyeballs to a YouTube video or your Facebook fan page, or you drive eyeballs to your website or so on and so forth, let's say you're driving eyeballs somewhere, you want to capture their name and their email address. Idealistically, their phone number would be great, but sometimes it's a little too intrusive, so you're just capturing name and email address so that you can follow up with them via email or text marketing or phone calling down the road so that you can convert them into customers and develop, more importantly, a relationship with them, which ultimately will lead them to being a customer after they develop a relationship with you, hopefully. So you want to capture this information. And I mean, Obama's campaign, again, phenomenal at doing this. Everywhere you look, there was a name and an email address, whether it was a landing page, whether it was a website, whether it was a supporters page. He knew, and really his new media director knew, that if they didn't capture name and email address everywhere, they wouldn't have the ability to follow up with those people. Unless this would be very compatible to standing at a booth at a trade show. And what do you do when people walk by? You talk to them and you hope they fill out a registration card or something like that. That comes very natural to you. For some reason, it doesn't come natural online. This is the equivalent of, okay, now that I've talked to you, here's my business card. Let's exchange business cards so I can follow up. Or I'm at a trade show, I want to fill out a registration card. Great. Now you go back to your office and you sit down and type them an email or you give them a phone call. So that's already common to you. So I want this to be common to you as well. I want you to, in your marketing, I want you to develop some data capture capabilities so that you can capture that name and email address when you're not physically sitting in front of them, because that's not what digital marketing is. Typically it's somebody Googling you, or they're on your Facebook fan page, or they find you on Twitter, or they see one of your YouTube videos and they get very interested in you, and then, okay, great, but it's 2 in the morning and they're not ready to purchase what you have today, so you have no way of getting in touch with them. With a data capture, with an opt-in box on your website or on a landing page, now that you have that interested information, that name and that email address, you can market to them over time forever. And so you get to develop this awesome relationship with them so that maybe 3 months down the road, they buy. And they were already interested in you once. So if you don't have that capability, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And in marketing, what you have to build is what is called a list. And you need to build a list of tons of people that are interested in your products, your services, your company, or let's face it, you. People usually buy from people. You've heard that a lot. So when you can bring out your personal brand and your marketing and people really connect with you, they like what you have to say, you're teaching them, you're training them for free, you can do this with scale with digital technology. So you build a list of let's say 5,000 people, and let's say you're a handyman and you build a list of 5,000 people. Well, let's say you wake up on a Tuesday morning and you want to take 20% off your deck building services. You've got 5,000 people on your list. You know that you're going to sell some of those deck building services. Or let's say you're a catering company and you have this great follow-up email campaign, and over the last several months, you've taught them how to set a table correctly, you've given them ideas for Christmas dinner, you've shared testimonials of your wonderful catering services, so on and so forth. All of a sudden you come out with this great catering package, you email your list of several thousand people, and bam, you've got orders rolling in. So that's really how this works. You want to, again, drive traffic. Step 2 is capturing that information. Now, which brings us very much organically to step 3. You have their name and their email address. Where are you going to put it? Step 3 is following up. What you do with that information is you put that information into what is called an autoresponder system. Every digital marketer that's worth their salt knows what an autoresponder is, and we all use it. 4 years ago, when I started out with absolutely nothing, I started out with this exact software. I actually use GetResponse, and it is a software. It's like $10 a month, and before I could even afford a website, starting out from scratch, I basically purchased a $10 a month software, and I started putting in people that were interested in what I had to do with marketing, and just started teaching and training, and then word of mouth started to flow, and I became hired to do marketing, and then 4 years later, things are very different right now. So We have obviously a lot more in place than a full-blown company, and we do digital marketing for companies all over the world. But my point here is step 3 is following up. You want to have a system in place where you can follow up with subscribers that opt into your website, or that they opt into your Facebook fan page, or they find you on YouTube, which leads them to a landing page, so on and so forth. One way to do that is email. I use an example here. If I was on both candidates' email campaigns, and it was, the Obama campaign and the Romney campaign used really good email follow-up. And here's an example of the Obama campaign. This one is from Michelle Obama. The other one is SMS, and here's an example of an image that shows SMS follow-up right there. So basically what they've done is they've collected information from millions of people rather, and then they follow up with them via email, via SMS, and that is step 3 in the equation. A little side note here I'd like to point out. You will notice in this email, which you really can't read in the video, but you'll notice that the email is signed by simply Michelle. And if you were to receive an email from her husband, it would just say Barack. And the point here is the copywriting with email is much more informal, and let's face it, you could be the President of the United States and still sign your name as your first name only. So I encourage you to use very less formal salutations and use very less formal copywriting. It's just the way it works these days, because we live in a very connected world. There's no such thing as 6 degrees of separation anymore. Everybody's about 2 degrees from everybody in this world with the advancement of technology and social media and mobile phones. So my point here is you really want to extract the corporate feel, the very stodgy, formal feel, which is hard for a lot of people starting out to do, and get very comfortable in your emails and in your copy. You want to treat them like you're sitting next to them having a cup of coffee or having a glass of wine, or just, having a chat. You really just want to be very informal with them as opposed to very formal. You're going to convert people a lot better. You're going to be able to develop a relationship with them a lot better as well. So those are 2 examples of follow-up in reviewing the funnel. So far we've discovered what some traffic sources are: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Google Places, Google Maps, LinkedIn, so on and so forth, driving traffic. Step 2 was data capture. We want to capture certain information via a landing page or via information on our social media profiles. So we want to capture name and email address. Another big place to capture information is via the website, which is 2 steps down. You should have some type of opt-in box on your website. Step 3 is follow-up. We just talked about what do you do with that information that you capture. You want to put it into an email autoresponder campaign, such as GetResponse, Constant Contact, MailChimp, Aweber, so on and so forth. One of those. Or you want to follow up with an SMS. I say at bare minimum you want to have an autoresponder in place. If you want to get a little fancier and include SMS or text follow-up as well, that's a great follow-up experience too. I think the restaurant industry is so key for SMS follow-up because of the ability to collect that information via little tabletop cards or so on and so forth, collecting phone number and opting in for promos, immediate promos, and that type of thing. So the food and beverage industry is really, really hot on SMS follow-up. So let's talk about step 4. We've talked about traffic, data capture, following up. Step 4 is having a website or a central hub. And having this where you can store and house all of your content that is Web 2.0 friendly is critical. And what do I mean by Web 2.0 friendly? Think of it in very, very basic terms as a two-way conversation. So instead of just having a website where it's more like a brochure, where they learn all about you and how wonderful you are, you want something more where it's a two-way street. People can comment on content that you have some live social media feeds going on with Facebook and Twitter. Maybe you've got, and hopefully you do, have an opt-in box where you can collect their name and email for something that you can give them automatically in a campaign, and so on and so forth. But the name of the game is content, and I want you to get very, very comfortable updating your website with content. At NADMC Services, we build 100% of our websites on WordPress. And I mean, for even the NADMC Services website itself, it's between 120 to 200 pages of a website. Everything is built on WordPress on that site. We've built major sites on WordPress. We've built 5-page little sites on WordPress. It's a great platform. And it's wonderful for two reasons. One, just because it's easy to manipulate and customize. And secondly, WordPress is very easy for the user to update blog posts and things like that. Please don't get confused with WordPress being, okay, it's a free platform, yes, but customizing it is a whole nother deal. So just because we use a free platform to build our custom websites on, most developers these days are using WordPress as well. So there is a big difference between trying to go the WordPress route yourself, and it looks like you've tried to go it yourself, or hiring somebody to customize it for you. But either way, you should start building your website on WordPress. A lot of my colleagues, most of my colleagues have WordPress websites as well. Do pay to have them customized. Do pay to have them set up for you, or else it will really look like you tried to do it yourself. So with that being said, it is a storehouse of content, and it's a great thing to have inside your marketing arsenal. So getting back again to the funnel, here we go. Traffic being the first step, data capture the second step, following up with them the third step, having an autoresponder in place, having a WordPress website in place. Step 4. Step 5 is your products and services. And step 5 is having something in place where you, what I call, menuize your products and services so that it's easy for people to take action on. So many times I see websites where on their products and services page it might say something like, well, we do consulting, and we do planning, and we do custom homes, and we do this, and so it's really, it's hard to tell what they sell, and there's no real price point in the viewer's mind of how to buy and things like that. So let's say you were a consultant, and let's say you consulted on deck build and design. Let's just say that. And so if I were to come to your website, it would hopefully be very easy for me to see what you sell, how you package your time, and then how do I actually purchase. So you don't want to go through all the work of driving traffic, capturing information, email campaigning, building a website, and then they're interested to buy and it's very difficult. So you want to make it very, very easy to buy. I mean, Apple had this game down a long time ago, and now you can actually walk through Macy's and see a kiosk and buy an iPad or an iPhone or something like that. So they even have kiosks for very, very high-priced things. So they know that if they don't make it easy for the customer to buy, they're not going to sell nearly as much. Over at the NADMC Services website, we have taken very complex and very, let's say, detailed products and digital marketing products, and we've created push-button packages for people to be able to purchase, because we know that if it's difficult, we won't be able to engage with them and service them. So we've made it very easy. So my point for you is to make sure that whatever you're selling, to menuize your products and services. And if you're thinking, well, Nikki, I can't do that because all of my clients are custom clients, that's fine. Still menuize that and leave the price off. So maybe you have consulting for a week, or maybe you have consulting per day, or so on and so forth. And at least have your packages of time, things you need to customize in order to price. So just menuize your products and services so that it's easier for people to buy. Here's an example of the Obama campaign. I go back to that because I'm just using that as an example because everybody knows about that winning campaign. Obama was not selling products and services. What he was selling is basically activism in his campaign, and ultimately which would lead to hopefully a vote for him. So he was menuizing people to get involved on his website, joining a group, volunteering, joining the team, which would hopefully draw people through his funnel and vote for him. So he was very systematic in that. Again, let's go over the funnel. Traffic plus data capture plus following up with them via an email campaign or text campaign, leading them to your website and your central hub where you have content and updated fresh content on a frequent basis, and then menuizing your products and services. That is the funnel in a nutshell. Now I want to show you how important this funnel is with a slide here just to prove to you how important it was. The funnel is hugely powerful, and the Obama committee knew that they had to put different people in charge of pieces of this funnel in order to carry things out. Chris Hughes was brought over from Facebook back in 2008, and he's been with him for a long time. Joe Rossbars is his new media director. Aaron Chaudhry is actually in charge of the YouTube traffic. Scott Goodstein is his text guru. So he has different people in place knowing that this whole funnel works together. And I mean, let's face it, these two elections were a social media and digital media juggernaut. They really, really were. So this funnel is hugely powerful. It's not one to look away from. And then just to show you an example of the funnel and how it does work, driving traffic at the top via YouTube videos, and then as you would see that he would drive them to a capture page which would collect their name and their email address. The third thing is he would follow up with them via emails over time and time again. I mean, there were days where I was getting 1 or 2 emails a day from both of the candidates' campaigns. He had a central hub or a website. He would very much menuize his products and services, and then on the other end, ultimately, the target would be votes. So that is an example of the 5-step funnel. If you're a business, you want to look at ways of driving traffic, of capturing information, following up, building a website, and menuizing your products and services. I encourage you to, over at nadmcservices.com, we have trainings on lots of different pieces of these, and we also have trainings on how to incorporate. I do advise you to download our checklist, which goes over each of these 5, and it's a checklist for you to be able to mark off which things you have in place right now, so that over time you can mark more off and check more off in the funnel, which will really help build your campaign. And you can get that checklist over at nadmcservices.com. You just opt in to the homepage, and we will send you that checklist, actually along with an entire starter kit. So if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at 1-800-985-5394.